Billy.
What was wrong?
He had COPD,
and then
liver failure, kidneys.
What was it?
60s. Maybe close to 60s.
Okay,
we're on record, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I will call the Mount Sterling Village Council meeting of March 11th to order. Roll call, please.
David?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Marcy had prior engagements that was scheduled out months in advance.
Right.
Move it, excuse her.
After roll call.
Becky?
After the roll call.
Yeah.
Here. Lowell?
Yes.
Craig?
Here.
Now I need a motion.
I'll give you that motion now.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Thank you. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Excuse me.
That brings us to prayer. I understand Dorothea is going to honor us with the prayer of the evening. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Let's join our hearts together in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we are thankful for your love to each one of us. We are thankful for this community. We are thankful that, God, you are our Creator. You sent your Son, Jesus, as our Redeemer. And, Lord, every action that comes from our hearts, let it be to honor and glorify you. We pray for the mayor and the whole council that, Lord, as they ponder the business on their sheets tonight, that you'll give them your wisdom, and you tell us to ask for wisdom, which you give liberally to all. So we seek you tonight and honor you for who you are, knowing, Lord, that we live and move and have our being in you. We are not our own. And so we give thanks, and we pray that this room will be filled with honorable actions that will glorify your name, and that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart will be acceptable in your sight. For, Lord, you are our strength and our Redeemer. We thank you tonight for hearing our prayers, and we bow humbly into your presence and give thanks. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you'll all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Please be seated.
His feet get in my way.
Before you, or in your emails, you've got the minutes from the council meeting on February 25th. I need a motion to approve those minutes.
You have that motion?
Thank you.
Can I'm sorry to interrupt. I do have the sheet here. If everybody can, you can just read off the minutes, and then I can pass this around for their signatures. I think we'll need to have a motion in a second. So it's all of them? Yes.
What date was that one?
So it'd be a motion to approve minutes from council meetings from February the 25th, finance work session held on March the 4th, special council meeting on March the 5th, and a special council meeting on March the 6th.
All right, I'll give you the motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Bull?
Yes.
I never had them.
Yes.
And then I'll be passing this around for everybody to sign.
Thank you.
Ma'am, please.
That leads us into the mayor's comments and report. Actually, my report was supposed to be here. Where's he at?
He's currently out right now in the field training some of our employees, actually in regards to sewage. He is here and he's going to be reporting a PowerPoint that talks about a diagram that everybody has up here, and I've left some there on the table about how sewage works. I know there's been some questions on, you know, the responsibility of a homeowner, and I know this hasn't been presented to council, I don't know, for a very long time or maybe ever, but it gives an idea to everybody on how the sewer works, what happens when there's a lot of rainfall, how that affects homeowners, what backflow preventers and check valves are. So it gives everybody an educated, session or training on how this works. Because I know there's a lot of question on, when there's a lot of rain, what happens in people's basements. So he is here to present that. Again, he is out training right now, so it may be something that has to happen a little later in the meeting.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. That's fine.
Your comment next.
That is my report. I was going to have him do my report. He was going to do, what I wanted to talk about was storm sewers and stuff,
Well,
and he's the professional. So that leads us into President Pro Tem, David.
I have all the committees. You'll have them in front of you. I think everybody will do an excellent job on the committees, and I appreciate you being on these committees, and I hope we get a lot done with them. And like I said, every time you need to have a meeting or something, I'm going to have some new plans for Block Watch. I've been talking about this as citizens thing, so we'll start that. And also, I talked to Pastor Joe at the Nazarene Church, and of course we're going to have our day we go out. It'll be April 26th on a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday. We'll be doing our what we call the Mission Sunday. So if you got old couches or anything you want to get rid of, well, we have a truck and we're couch ready, and for any type of other trash. And appreciate the village for their backing and all the other organizations too. That's all I had to report, sir.
Thank you very much. That leads to public comments. Anyone want to make a comment? No? That leads us to department reports. I see Deputy Jack, he must be off.
Yes, he's absent today.
He's absent. That leads us, Mark had an operation and David's sitting in his seat tonight. Do you have a report?
No, sir.
And our utilities clerk.
I know go on in, Sean.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, she's busy right now putting in some payments. So she may have a report at the end, at the latter part of the meeting.
Okay. Well, go ahead and do your report,
Okay.
and after your report, we'll let Sean make his presentation.
Okay, so not a lot that I have to report as far as village updates. Again, we're getting into the season where, hopefully the weather's starting to turn, and, the weather is no longer you won't be seeing snow in the forecast. So again, we're going to be going out, analyzing the village, looking at potholes and what needs to be fixed. So again, we will be reevaluating that like we did around this time last year, and of course bringing it back to council. And I assume with David,
Yeah.
with being on streets and stuff.
Exactly. Well, definitely, will you tell me, Courtney, when you need to meet and what we have to do, and we'll definitely put something together.
Again, I want to remind everybody, the village administrator position is out there posted at the window. I also put it on an ALCO website. So again, we've received a few applicants that will be taken to council, to you guys to review. Right now, I think there's 5 or 6 that have submitted applications.
Mm-hmm.
We would like for you guys to reevaluate that and evaluate that up against the qualifications that you guys have set, and then you can make that determination. Let me see. I'm trying to think of there's again what Sean's here for, and that's part of my update as well. Is there's a lot of question about sewage backup. And until you can get into those pipes and really check out what is really in there by camera, by vac truck, by experience, a lot of that lies on. So, I wanted to bring him in and show everybody and show the residents and show the public, how this affects the village, how this would affect the homeowner. So a lot of that, that Sean's going to be talking about. So again, I apologize, I don't have any reports or anything on water, so hopefully Misty can forward that to us at a latter part of the meeting. As far as village updates, that's all that I have. You know, we've gotten Tyler down here to train Cody, the new operator, so that's working out very well. And I apologize, I don't have any more, but that's all I got for updates.
Do we have Sue bonded yet?
No.
Okay.
So, of course, my financials, if you guys want to pull those financial reports out. Okay, so we'll start from the Rita report. As you can tell, what was received on March the 1st is $102,333.96.
Which one are you, excuse me, which report are
The
you
Rita
on?
report.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, the next one is appropriations. And again, these appropriations are going to be matching for February. So all of your reports on here, as we know, are a February month. Okay? So these will match your the bank reconciliation that I have here as well. Okay? So again, general fund is 6.92%, which is very great, which is, I don't say very great, but great. Really great, because we should be sitting at almost 20% at this point. So we really reduced expenditures. Again, we would be going into the third month of the year, so that's looking very good. If you guys want to look at the water, 5%, which is very good, because again, we should be sitting in around 20%. And sewer, we're showing at 7%, 7.4%. You'll see that on the water, we just had to, there was a problem with the HVAC system at the water plant, so we did get that taken care of and fixed. You guys will see that appropriation change on the next month, or the next meeting. And that was just minimal, it was a couple $100 for that. The revenue status, if you look at for the general, 36%. So again, we are over 10% of the revenue that was collected than what was budgeted. So that's very good. And I know we only talk about the three, so if you guys want other funds to talk about, just let me know. But you guys can all see it. Water's at 14%. And then sewer's at 10%. Any questions on those? Okay, receipt listing, again, this is for the month of February. A lot of Rita, we received, you know, village sewer and water payments are always a big, large sum on there. Any questions on that? Okay, the payment listing, again, this is for the month of February. And you guys have seen these before. Because again, it's a capture of February. I'm just trying to look at here if there's anything that stands out here. You'll see the chemicals. We had to purchase chemicals this last month. So you'll see that there was for Miami Products and for Environmental Management and Development. Those are the two that you kind of, you know, normally see. Any questions on those?
When you pay Tyler, where, how do you put it in here?
What do you mean?
Where do you show it?
Tyler for what?
That anything he does for us, the payment.
He would be on payroll, so he's out of the appropriations. Okay. Yeah. This is payment listing, which is every check that's been sent out by the village.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, comparison to budget and appropriated. Any questions on that? It remains in the positive, the general fund. Okay, and the cash summary by fund. I'm happy to report that the general fund remains as a positive of $431,000.
That's good news.
Yes,
That's real good news, yeah.
Okay, so So any questions on those financial reports? Okay, because I also have, as you guys know, a copy of the bank reconciliation. It was reconciled on March the 5th for the month of February. All of these numbers on the bank reconciliation report will match the reports you guys have in hand, your financial reports.
Now, Courtney, we meet with the commission, Mayor and I, this month, right?
Yeah, so it's March the 19th.
That's what I thought.
It is an open session,
Okay.
Open to the public at 10 o'clock here at Town Hall. And that's when the state auditors, the treasurer's office, the county auditor will be here. Members from the that have been selected for the Financial Commission Committee, those members, those residents will be here. And to discuss the recovery plan, and that's what's in your guys' packet that I'll be talking about today. Okay, so if I can pass this around, again, these removals here, these errors that you guys normally see, and for those that are new, these are items that the state could not reconcile. Okay, so once we get the audit back, they ask for another extension. I'm hoping to get that done by the end of March. But these will then be removed, so we will be done with complete of all of our audits. So those findings will be posted to all of you council members. So if you guys can please pass that around, and Mayor Martin, I have also a sheet for this, if you can motion for those reports, and then I'll pass this around for their signature as well.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the, what was that called?
You'll be accepting the appropriation status, revenue status, receipt listing,
receipt listings,
payment listing,
payment listing,
comparison of budget and appropriated, cash summary by fund, the reader report, and the bank reconciliation for February of 19.
Yes, what she said. Yes.
Craig?
It's not on my agenda. Second,
I'll second that,
vote.
providing you repeat it.
You want me to repeat it? Lol, was that a joke?
That was a joke.
Okay, David,
Yes.
Mike,
You never knows.
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
Yes.
Craig.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll pass this around if everybody can sign that as well.
Now, on this reconciliation, it's what, about 4,600 out?
Yes. And those are the items that, and again, this carries from 2013 until 16, okay? So they're auditing from that period of time, and when the auditors, when the state did it, and when we had Perry and Associates did it, they could not find where those items were. So once the audit comes back and we're done auditing those years, then what will happen is we can then remove that. So the state will tell us that we can remove those items, so those won't show up on the bank reconciliation any longer.
Find this one.
Is there any questions you guys have on anything? I know I kind of went through it fast, but it's the normal. There's nothing that stands out. The state, again, in contact with them every day. They're very satisfied with how things are going. We're moving in the right direction, and we'll be set to present the recovery plan next week.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Sorry for the paperwork.
Are you finished?
I think I am.
You think you are?
Yep.
Okay, we're going back to the utilities clerk report.
I apologize for being late. I was on the phone with a resident that has a major leak. So,
Okay.
actually, a couple different residents. I'll talk to you afterwards. And that's, well, first of all, let me tell you, so far for this month, we've received in 260 payments, about 32,000. And Courtney already gave you the figures for last month.
on their
Also,
reports. On their reports, I just want to refer them back to their report.
just a couple of things about the bills. There's a lot of assistance out there that our residents, they're not aware of. So I think I'm trying to bring more awareness to it. Recently, one of our residents used it, and they were just so pleased that it's out there. And it's not for owners only, it's for renters. If you have children in a home or not, I have some packets that I printed out, so you can have a look at it. They're not all income based either. There's also, it's through Madison County, and I have the numbers on here that you can call. You do have to provide some financial information to them or let them know what you need and the plan, how you're going to recover and stay there. But it's really nice. They also can provide, they do energy efficient assistance, like with the refrigerators, appliances, fans, air conditioners, things of that nature, and shower heads, light bulbs. So that's out there as well, that, you know, you just think it's too good to be true, but it's out there. They really care over there. So like I said, I have copies of that. I think that we should put it on our website. Yes.
I can do that.
Okay. What else is there? Just really busy with the calls coming in, just with the leaks or, you know, so which brings up some things that Sean's going to talk about. Backflow preventers are a topic that I think that we need to all learn more about and possibly get a program, and Sean can probably help us with this, of maybe getting them at a discounted cost and installing them ourselves and have our guys install them. And I don't know if we could get it warranted, but possibly just looking at a program for that. It's about prevention, and that's something we think in the community. But Sean can probably tell us a lot more about it. And I mean that's about it. One last thing: if someone doesn't get a bill, just call me or email me. My email's on our website. It's mvance, and I can email it, fax it. I mean, Billy's delivered copies of bills. So only thing people have to do is just ask for it. I don't know if you talked about the policy with the shutoffs.
Yeah, I was I was waiting for you to come so we could talk about that.
Okay.
I just had one thing to add as well, is that with the several phone calls that Misty gets almost daily, especially around bill time or when bills are not, you know, when they're sent out. Of course, this last one, there was an issue at the post office, so that's the reason why ours were delayed. Now, I do hear a lot, and, you know, she's only one person up there. So, you know, I see that there's a lot of people that say, you know, she doesn't, you know, nobody's received a phone call back, or nobody's answering it. Well, she's one person that's still dealing with people at the window. So I did some research on my own, as well as, you know, speaking with Misty, is that there's probably what's the percentage of people that come to the window to pay a bill versus mailing it in or putting it in a lockbox?
I'm going to take a good guess and say over half.
Okay, so over half of people are coming to the window. And, you know, when she's at the window servicing a customer, the phone's ringing, and then it's ringing, then the next person comes in. So, you know, I asked the residents to be patient. You also have my information that's online. My email is online. My phone number is extension 5. If you call Town Hall, if you cannot get through to her. But again, you know, as she writes down, she does take logs of phone calls or people that leave messages. So even if you don't leave a message, you know, call me, send me an email, Facebook message me, instant message me. I know Misty doesn't have Facebook, but, you know, say, hey, I have a question about my bill. I get a lot of, you know, messages from there where they, you know, they can't get through. So be patient on that. If you don't get a phone call back, send it directly to me. You know, again, I don't look at current events, you know, sometimes, you know, or they're in my feed and I don't see them. So I don't see that people haven't gotten bills or that they've made phone calls. Again, send me an email. message me, call me, leave me a message. I know I'm in here every day, so.
We had numerous that said I tried to call, and I'm like, did you leave a message? No.
So, you know, again.
And you've been there, Becky, you've seen it.
So just leave us a message. You reach out to us. You have the mayor. You have council members too. So if there's any questions that you cannot get through, then, you know, please reach out to somebody else. It's kind of like when you escalate a situation at a business or something. You know, talk to somebody else. You know, reach out to somebody else. And then with the shutoffs, I mean, I know there's a lot that's going to be delivered, you know, following that ordinance that was passed back in December of last year about shutting water off. Okay, so be mindful of that there is a $50 reconnection fee. And, you know, when there's something that's delivered, you know, call her. If there's an issue with payment, definitely call her. You know, she can set that up.
Updated, if you get a new number, I mean, just drop me an email, call, or let Courtney know that they've been updated, because when I know that, I mean, when I started, there were a lot of numbers missing, phone numbers missing in the system.
Yeah.
So it's not the in the ordinance, but I try to call every single person or try to contact them before that water's shut off. And it's not required, it's a courtesy. Some people are under the misunderstanding that we need to leave a shut off notice before shutting off the water. We don't have to, but we try our best to. We've never shut off water without trying to contact someone. But if I don't have the number, if they're not there.
I gotta say this for Courtney, she is so courteous about doing that to people. I've been there in the office and she does a great job on
Misty.
that.
Misty.
And Mitzi, I mean, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but you know, they both work hard, and I know they both do well.
Just reach out to us. She's willing to set anybody up that, you know, any assistance.
They both work hard.
Everyone in town knows that the first of the month, the water bills are sent out. Everyone knows that. Everyone should know that they're due by the 15th. If you haven't got a water bill by the 15th, call Town Hall and give her an address or give her a name.
Is that on
That's
on
pardon?
the water bill too?
It is. It is. That's the best way to stay off the I'm getting my water shut off ticket route. Call. She'll set something up for you. If there's a problem, call Town Hall and make sure that you do not get on the turn the water off list. That's the best way to avoid it. Pay the water bill.
May I say something?
Yes, you may.
Everyone's been hitting on it a little, but just to reiterate, Courtney mentioned that we passed legislation, I believe, back in December, and just a quick recap of that is, like Billy said, water bills are due on the 15th. On the 16th, you will be assessed a 10% penalty, period. And then the waters are set to be shut off the first of the following month. So you have 2 more weeks with your penalty to get your water bill paid. And then if you do not get it paid, the first of the month, your water is subject to be turned off. And like Misty said, it's a courtesy for her. She just said she takes in probably 50% of our water bills. So would you say that that's probably 400 you take through the window?
I would say there's at least 400 through the window.
At least 400 through the window. And that's not just here you go. I've been in there with her and they're like, I don't know what I did with my water bill. Can you look it up? She has to get on the computer. She has to process credit cards. It's not like a quick process. So she's doing 400 of those at least a month with dealing with the person, plus the other 400 that are being mailed in or however they're coming in. So she's got her hands full. So that courtesy call that you're getting, it's just that. I mean, we care about every resident, but there'll probably be a point where she might not be able to keep up with those courtesy calls, and your water is subject to be turned off the first of the month.
And those ordinances are online if anybody wants the public to see those.
And also, just something else, because I do see a lot of chatter on Facebook and whatnot. The water rate has not gone up. I believe on your water bill, because I hear people saying that they're not going to take showers, they're not going to water their gardens. The water rates have not changed. The debt to our has changed, and that has been added to every single customer's bill. So if you stop taking showers or watering your garden, it's not going to change your water bill. If it does, it's going to be very minimal. So
Because the least it will ever be is $82.78.
right. So, and again, on those water bills now, we have the resolution number, is that correct? So you can come in, hopefully we're going to get that posted in here, but they'll be willing to let you look at that resolution, or you can go online and look at it, and it'll explain that debt and why your water bill went up.
Debt service fee
Yes.
is what that is.
So, thank you for working so hard out there.
Has the static from that subsided a little bit now
Yeah,
after the initial shock?
Yeah, I mean, I still get a call here and there, and on some of them, there's probably not a need to listen to them. I mean, somebody called last week, it was on Friday, and Courtney happened to be standing there, and we heard about it.
It's not so nice,
Yeah.
especially it's kind of like, you know, the policeman enforcing a law, just like a sheriff's department would enforce a speed limit. They're not so nice. I mean, you know, you try to explain it, and then, you know, they get angry with you, and then they cuss at you, threaten at you. I mean, and at this point I had to take over because I had heard it, so I had to take over the call.
It's terrible. It's disgusting. She had nothing to do with this rate. Nothing.
That's what it always goes.
She is out there to help every person in this community get their water bill paid. She goes above and beyond every day to get that accomplished. And yet, she has to take that abuse, that verbal abuse, every day. One phone, one person. So if she's taking 400 payments at the window, that's 350 that she's taken by the telephone or the drop box. And like you said, it's not a quick process. The telephone rings and you have to drop everything else.
But that's what we're here for too. We're here to hear because we don't have a village administrator. So all the phone calls are coming to the water department. That, you know, I have backup, I have a sewer leak, or I mean a water leak. I have a question about a street light that's not visible in my area. So I mean, without having that village administrator, that tacks on a lot of, you know, people that, you know, and we welcome that. We want you to come here. We want to be able to address every concern or question that you have. It's just hard because, again, there's not a village administrator that they can talk to like they've had in the past. So it's hard to deal with, you know, all of that. You know, why somebody's standing at the window and you don't want to be rude to them and be on the phone for so long.
And sometimes you don't want that person at the window to hear, you know, certain things or
It's embarrassing.
You know, information that somebody can't make their payment on time.
Yeah, and,
We deal with it.
and you want to be confidential when you're talking to somebody over the phone that has a hardship or, you know, wants to set up on payment arrangements. It's very hard because you don't want anybody else to know about that. And when you're talking about addresses and names and, you know, situations like that, you know, you don't want anybody to, you know, we don't want the other residents to hear that.
So
Misty,
we're doing the best we can, and we're doing pretty darn good.
Can I ask you a
That's what we
question,
got.
Misty?
Well, sure you can.
Do you know about how many, let's use February for an example, how many delinquencies there are?
When I first started, no, it's not an exact number, but at the end of the month, I'm going to guess there were around 30, and we, you know, just work with them.
That's out of about 760 that we mail out. You have around 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, we're getting there. Now there's, I'm going to say about 8 of them. And through this, we're also learning that we need to really update some of the valves. That's a really big part of it.
So like of the 30 delinquents that go past the 15th, how many would you say end up getting turned off 2 weeks later?
What we maybe we turned off about maybe 6.
Okay, so.
Because once they get that on their door, you know, once they know that it's shut off, there's immediate payment, almost immediately.
So we only tag doors once we've turned them off now. That's
No.
When they shut the water off, when she sends a red tag and it shuts it off, they're calling back immediately.
Okay.
And a lot of people, they get upset of that, and I don't blame them, but they end up, most of them thanking us and working with them to get it back on quickly after their payment.
My question is about how many dollars of delinquency are you talking about?
I'll have to get it to you. I can't even guess, Lowell. I mean, I don't want to take a guess. I can have that regular when I come in here on my report. I can have that added to the amount of payments. Like,
Just sometime.
Or you can come and.
I'll do that.
Another thing, I ran into a lady here in town. She said that she recently got a call. I think you were talking about this at the last meeting. She got a call from someone acting like they were her granddaughter, and she had gotten a wreck. I heard you talking about this at the last meeting. And they wanted her to, they were going to send her a letter and tell her where to send a payment to. They said that her granddaughter was in an accident, or it was her niece or granddaughter or something, but her last name's Conway. They pronounced her last name Conway. So that really, she was scared. And so just be aware of that. I mean, it's hard to believe that people really do that, or people really send money. I think it was Mrs. Conway was her aunt, but they were saying it was her grandmother, so they messed up there also. But if she would have given out the correct information, who knows when they would have called her again. So that's pretty crazy. So that's going around town also.
Even though you said some people think that they're not going to take showers, they're not going to do this because of extra cost, that's not a bad problem. If they decide they're going to use less water, chances are maybe they need to use less water.
Yeah, but they think that, when they get their bill, if it's $83, that they, I'm not going to use any water anymore. They have it, here's your 1,000 gallons. I mean, you're getting charged for that. And it's just, I just say at this time, it will not go lower than $82.78. And it's still the same as it always was for in town. It's $13.98 for additional 1,000 gallons.
Is that it?
Sean's here. Yep.
Yeah, introduce him.
Yeah.
Who he works for.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we have next up, again, Sean was out training some of our employees in regards to the vac trucks and the sewage backups. And this is Sean. He is from Ohio Rural Water. And like I said before, I don't think we've had like a presentation like this. He's very experienced as a plumber as well in his past trade. He's also a member of Ohio Rural Water, which means he does this and helps villages like ourselves out. And he's been a great asset and provided trainings in the past for some of our council members. I know he's somebody I call frequently to ask questions on, and he does answer those with his experience and knowledge. So again, he's going to be doing a presentation about, I call it sewer, and it's going to also help educate all of us and as well as the public to understand how it works, how to prevent it, and what it all means.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Council, for having me here tonight. Just explain a little bit about me. I've been in the trade for over 20 years. I've been with Rural Water for going 4.5 years. We've provided a lot of assistance to the village, like Courtney said, through training, through technical assistance. All of that is membership based. You guys pay a membership to be a member of Iowa Water every year. I can tell you, just in this calendar year, you guys have received an unbelievable amount of dollars in benefits just from being members. I think it's $300
Yep.
for the membership for the year. The amount we've helped out with the water plant, the sewer plant, we did 2 sustainability management courses here for council. I've worked a lot with Cameron, some of the issues in the village with the collection system. I know there's questions about backups, and the diagram that is provided for you there, we can look at it. If you guys want to be very open, you can ask questions at any point in time, stop me. This is more of a learning for everybody here tonight. A lot of issues within a village is I&I, infiltration. The big part of that is, and I usually keep this as very in layman terms as I can, if we make 100,000 gallons of water in the water tower, but we're processing 500,000 after we've gotten a rain event, who's paying for that? I call it mystery water. That's pump run time, that's treatment time, and we're not billing a single customer for it. The village is absorbing that cost. Ways we can cut down on that is through a slide that you see here is a smoke test that we conducted. And it's a smoke machine that we set on the manhole, and we blow smoke 1,400 feet in 4 directions. It's very powerful. We find out if your spouting drains are tied in. We find out if you have a crack in your lateral going from the main to the residence, which is ownership of the resident. It's not the responsibility of the village. The only thing that we can do at that point in time is suggest to the homeowner, you're going to have issues with tree roots, just like what we experienced tonight with the homeowner. And to do the right thing is to make those needed repairs to cut down on that total number, of that number not being 500,000 after a rain event, to maybe that number could be 150,000. You're never going to get away from infiltration. I mean, not unless you guys got a magic wand and produce a brand new collection system, brand new water lines and everything. But what we can do to cut down on that, we could do in the spring, we could do a smoke test. There's times where the guys are going in because there's a malfunction with the meter. We need to be more vigilant on looking for sump pumps. Sump pumps are a very sneaky thing out there, I guess. People would not realize how much water from the foundation of your home, and if they're tied into the sanitary sewer, that's money that's not being billed. That's water that's not being billed, I'm sorry. So that's some things to think about. In the smoke test, if we do it, we can also find out where there's combined within the village. Years and years ago, EPA thought that the more water that we got to the treatment plant, the easier it was to treat. Well, now you have the blue-green algae and stuff that's going on, where phosphorus and nitrates and stuff are getting discharged into our big aquifers, and it's poison. So now they want to treat as much water as they can, safely at the plant. So identifying if we got catch basins out throughout the village, it's a huge culprit to infiltration. A parking lot that was built back in the 80s, and all the parking lot drains are tied in, going to our sanitary. That's all the mystery water that I'm talking about. And that's stuff that we shouldn't be paying to treat. You know, we bill for fresh water. And we would like to see those numbers, you know, fairly comparable on a given day. Just some pictures. These are just some field pictures that were made.
Sean, you referred to this as water, but you're talking about the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
Is what we're talking about, not the water plant itself or water being produced, but everything going to the wastewater plant, sewer plant.
That's what I'm saying. We kind
Right.
of like to see those numbers fairly comparable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's apples to apples. I mean, that's what we would like to see.
I got a question about the smoke test. How accurate is the smoke test? If like say, I know that in this community, it's an older community, is it very, very accurate?
Well, we try to do it on a very dry event. We try to do it in June, July, or August.
Okay.
When the ground is saturated, the ground tightens up. So if you have a break in a main or a break in a lateral, a lot of times you'll be 3 blocks down the road and maybe some smoke started coming up out of the ground or something. So the drier the climate, the more positive results you'll receive out of
So
it.
it don't work as good during the wet season, best to wait to, oh, okay.
You don't want to do it during any frozen temperatures or saturation.
July and August would be a good time then. That'd be about our driest time, yes, sir.
And I mean, in the past, I've found some unbelievable things. I mean, creek crossings to where a pipe had the top shaved off of it. So when the creek comes up, guess where all that water's going to go? Right to the sewer plant. Hundreds of thousands of gallons of water on a given night. I got a guy right now in Central Ohio. He just called me today. Their average flows were 86,000. What day did it rain here?
Every day.
I was gonna say, every
Well, that one was Saturday.
Saturday.
2.5 inches of rain.
He just called me and he said they did 1.5 million.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Do you see, yeah, I got a quick question. Does tree roots have a lot to do with if a person has too many trees too close to their line, doing a lot of this too? Or?
It can. I mean, roots love water. And if there's a crack in the clay tile, which most of this infrastructure around here is clay tile.
Yeah, Lord.
Tree roots are going to find a happy place to live.
That's true.
And water with nutrients in it.
Now, does the clay tile have a tendency to collapse a lot more than what them are, or does it?
You know, a lot of this clay tile was put in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and I mean, it's survived this long.
Yeah. Okay.
It just depends on the area. Like you said, you could have had a tree that was just a little fellow back in the day, but now, you know, it's taking up your whole front yard. So just tonight, that's what we found.
Okay.
I mean, it was tree roots in the customer's lateral, and a little bit of blame was being shifted towards the village, and we corrected that tonight. So.
And that's what they do. That's what Ohio Rural Water does. And again, not to, you know, be a sponsor or, you know, cheerleader for them. Yeah. But I mean, that's what they do, and that's what we want to provide to the residents. You know, we could have just said, no, we're not even going to look at it for you. You know, nope, it's your problem. Deal with it. You know, but I don't operate like that. You know, we don't operate like that. We're going to say, you know what, we're going to bring a professional down here, and we're going to explain, and that's free training for our employees, as well as having a professional coming down here and saying, you know, somebody, you know, I don't want to say that they, you know, a plumber has, you know, would do anything bad to somebody and steal and rob their money, but I mean, you have a professional that's unbiased. And they're coming down here to say, you know what, like that plumber, they didn't maybe go all the way through it. They didn't penetrate all the way through it to find it. You know, and you just spent $300, $500 to do that. And you bring somebody here that says, okay, let's evaluate the situation. Let's look at the situation.
And we do have a lot of toys and bells and whistles that at our disposal that make our jobs a lot easier. But we couldn't do that if we didn't have the support from communities like yourselves. We're getting better every year with updating our equipment, but some of the equipment that we have, it's just physically not feasible for you guys to purchase that stuff.
We just can't afford it.
I mean, we're talking, you know, like a camera truck. I know you guys have a camera and stuff. We got a camera truck that's a very expensive piece of unit. We got 2 mobile camera units that we can put in a manhole, and we have line detection, leak detection equipment for looking for water leaks. We really do have some nice tools at our disposal, and it's only going to get better every year with the support that we're getting from communities like that. But it's to me, it's very rewarding to be able to provide this service and see the benefit that comes out of it. Because we do, there's only 2 of us on the wastewater side and 2 on the water side for the whole state. So it was like a 2-hour and 40-minute drive for me to get here this morning. I've been here since, what, 7? Mm-hmm. So, but no, like I said, when we do these, we ask neighboring communities to come out and help. Sorry, I had to put it on this wall for you guys on this side. But we offer contact hours for their continued ed that they're getting for free. If you take some of the other organizations out there that offer contact hours, for a 4-hour class, you're roughly looking at $200 to $300. And a lot of times your guy's going to be out of the village for a day, so there's a loss in work production also along with that. But what we do when everybody comes from other communities around to help, we end up getting about 10 to 12, 15 guys. I kind of try to keep it somewhat small. And they're walking around with clipboards behind houses, you know, down alleys and stuff. And then it's just progression all day long. We just keep moving forward and moving forward. And then at the end of the day, we've done it a couple different ways. The way I've been doing it recently, it seems like there's less confusion. We implement or compile a list of all the infractions that we find. We put together a hit list, and then after that, it's up to you guys for enforcement. And that's written already in your city ordinance. So for legal tie-ins and connections. And there's even a section in there on sump pump connections also. So you guys do have the ability to enforce it. It's just a matter of getting to that point. Any questions so far?
Yes. Earlier, she spoke about check valves.
Yes.
The importance of a check valve in some of these homes with basements, and the possibility of any programs that would help us help the community with those check valves.
You could maybe do like a survey or something on your social media to see how many people have been affected with that over the years. You might be surprised that it's not a large amount of people. Definitely implementing a flushing program would be very beneficial. I know you guys are kind of down on workforce right now, so it makes that job very difficult. But then again, the EPA's going to, you know, they're going to come back in and they could potentially cite you or you know, for not having a flushing program.
Not having a flushing program?
Free collection system, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions now.
It should be on a regular maintenance plan.
Pardon?
It should be on a regular, somewhat of a maintenance program, to where you're doing like, you know, divide the village into 4 sections, or quadrants, and say,
through the winter, and
whenever you get free time, you know how it is, Billy. I mean, you're chasing leaks and potholes and signs and everything else along with the job of trying to operate a wastewater plant and a water plant.
Right.
I got another question too. It's a lot of the problems what some people put down their toilets that can get into the lines and going down to the plant. And I just wondered if there's some situation that can be like that.
That's just education.
Yes.
I wrote an article in the Rural Water magazine 2 years ago, I think it was, and it was called Flushed Away. I could probably give Courtney a copy of that if you guys wanted to read. And it talks about the things that we shouldn't be putting down the commode. And at the end of the day, like a part of the article was, at the end of the day, it ends up the landfill.
Exactly.
I mean, so why not throw it in the trash can in the first place? You know, it wreaks havoc on our collection system because we get, you know, we're dealing with a system that was put in when?
Distribution or the actual plant? I mean, it's been years ago, like in the 60s.
In the 30s,
Right.
the original 30s.
Okay.
But as we've made updates, or like when there's repairs on mains and things that had to be done.
Right, but you get old clay tile, you get some separation with tile just from freezing and thawing, and then it becomes a collection point. So the more that we can educate the community on what we can, cannot, or should and should not flush down the toilet, I've always said a lot of times it's a lack of education.
I remember when I was a boy, a lot of dead goldfish used to go down through the, like on a Viking funeral.
I had two daughters, and I had to have the talk with them, you know, at that teenage age, and say, you know, this is what's not going down and what is. So.
I know you're curious about that because I noticed you can have the wrong kind of paper stuff and shoot down it and stuff too.
Be,
yeah.
Depending on your lateral or something like that, toilet paper. This toilet paper that's being produced nowadays, I'm not a very big fan of it.
Okay.
Someone in sewage said that if the package says flushable, don't believe it. It's not.
Well, in that same article I wrote, there's a Consumer Reports YouTube video that you can watch, and they did a study on a so-called flushable wipe and a non-flushable wipe. They ran it through the wash test or whatever. Neither one of them broke down.
Right.
They both ended up in the landfill.
I remember a problem we had one time is these hand wipes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And a lot of people want to flush them. Them things, they'll actually expand, and once they get in there. And so it went apart.
When this plant was...
Well, I was going to say, back in the 50s with automatic washers and dishwashers, that started the whole thing getting worse, more stuff getting in there. And also, if you remember too, the EPA in the 1970s said it's cheaper to treat the water as to remove it. But you just said that a few minutes ago. Now they've changed their feeling on that.
Yeah, the old phrase that was coined a few years ago is dilution is the solution to pollution.
Right.
Well, it's no longer like that.
See, that was...
Because now we got people that can't even swim in Lake Erie, or, you know, the threat of the toxins that are from the blue-green algae. It could be affecting our aquatic life up there.
Right.
You know, you guys have Deer Creek right here. It's a very hot topic.
It is.
Phosphorus and stuff like that getting into our watershed.
It's very important to our environment then, technically. The environment is very important, how we watch all this then, to the whole environment probably then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and like the EPA will bring down restrictions now. Like they don't just make you, oh, you know, you probably should do this. It's you will do this.
You won't do this.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of restrictions from the EPA now that have come down.
So, I mean, with the smoke testing, it's a great program. We've seen a lot of success out of it. I usually end up getting 4 to 7, maybe 8 communities a summer. Because we have, if it's for contact hours, we have to have paperwork submitted a month prior. And then you do all this pre-work to get it set up. And then you get a big rain event the day that you're supposed to do it. So it's kind of like your kid's birthday party getting rained on when you planned on having it at the park. And it's just a scheduling thing with EPA as far as for contact hours. But there's a lot of villages where I'll go in and I'll just do spot testing where they know or think they're having a problem. And we'll notify all the houses within that affected area, and we can smoke that one location too. And that's not offered for contact hours just because of, you know, what we're doing. We're just jumping from here to there.
So if you were to, so I have a question. So if you were to say, as a homeowner, because, you know, again, this is an education for the residents too. As a homeowner, what would you say is the one thing that they should look out for when there is, say there's a backup, or is there something that they can identify in their yard
Not necessarily
or in their house or something.
A lot of indications, and like I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years. A lot of times I would hear, well, we heard gurgling in the pipe. 9 times out of 10, that's an issue. It's a problem. It could go away because during the night when we sleep, the liquids will leak away. It gives us that air pocket within the pipe. The solids are still there, but the liquids, that gurgling of the piping is air trying to escape out of the pipe because it needs somewhere to go.
Would that become sewer gas technically then and come back up, you think, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and too, with the smoke testing, a great story. There was a lady down in the southern part of Ohio that for 3 years, she had loss of appetite, constant headaches, never felt good. We filled her house completely full of smoke.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Because her trap in the basement had been dry for 3 years. Sewer gas was coming up through there. She literally let us know that we filled her house full of smoke. But 3 days later, she wrote a letter to our boss at the time and thanked the organization. Her appetite came back. Her headaches went away. She started feeling better. She was literally poisoning herself and didn't know it, just because lack of education or, you know. So that, I mean, that's some good things we find. The real bad thing is when you find a big event and say it's down Main Street of Mount Sterling. Do we have the money to make repairs? And that's always the big question, or the big, you know, you guys are getting there. You really are. I've seen a lot of improvements, a lot of success within this village in the last year and a half. Hands-on, have seen it myself. So it's working what you're doing. And that not only comes from me, that comes from Tim Ballard, our water guy, has been in the business for over 35 years. He's forgotten more about water than what most guys will obtain. But and he's helped out quite a bit here too.
So what happens like when we have big rain events like this? So when we have big rain events like this, you know, a lot of people, you know, will notice that there is gurgling or backups and stuff. You know, what can help them prevent from the backup in their basements? Is it a check valve? Is it something that
they could, if they're having issues like that and it never really reaches the house, a check valve could be recommended. I think with improvements with a maintenance plan of jetting the lines, I think could improve things also, and it also kind of eliminates the big culprit. You know, I should say, because your guys can go out there and they can pop the manholes and they can see flow. But then again, we don't know, you know, are there tree roots in the lateral? We don't know that without actually putting eyes on it. I'm not available enough to where I'd be able to help you out in that respect of it. If you had 100 people call up and say, well, I want my lateral inspected for free. It's just not feasible for us to have that type of manpower. But at the end of the day, the lateral's the ownership of the homeowner anyways. So just education, I mean, paying attention to your own surroundings in your house is crucial or huge to me, I think. Because if I hear gurgling in my pipe, I'm probably going to investigate a little bit further before I have a full basement full of sewage.
If I may ask, you were speaking of, you know, coming out and doing this smoke thing. How much would something like that cost?
Good question. Does free sound good?
That sounds amazing. I keep listening to you, and it sounds like we're getting all these benefits for just the membership fee.
We are funded through the USDA.
That's amazing.
We're a nonprofit. We make no money off of you guys. I want to clarify that.
Okay.
I mean, we are a program that was developed I think we've been in the association since 1976. I think that's when Lowell got out of grade school.
I was mayor in 1976.
I was 3. But there are a little bit of fees that lead up to that. The smoke, we use a particular type of smoke that works really well with our machines. It's roughly $230, I think, through shipping. And then we ask Billy to cook lunch for everybody. So.
So how far in advance would we have to, would we have to get on your books now to get this scheduled for summer?
Courtney and I have been talking about it for over a year.
Oh, great.
So it is on my back burner.
Good.
It will be one of the ones earlier if
Great.
the weather breaks here.
Yep.
It's something that you guys really need to talk about and discuss the ins and outs. We like I said, it's usually a month in advance to where I submit the paperwork to the EPA if we're going to do it for a training. This village is a pretty good size. We would probably have to do it in a training, and it probably will take 2 days. So we might divide the village in half. If we get a big enough response, I could get 2 teams going. We could have like Team A, Team B, and just work to the end goal to get the whole village done. But so basically $230 for the smoke. That would be per team if we do run 2 teams. So 2 5-gallon jugs of smoke. And then we just ask for lunch provided, which Billy has done awesome with that in the past with the trainings that we've done and everything. So.
We had a smoke testing done back in the 70s, and all of the comments, you can't educate the people enough that you're going to do that. And some of the answers we got, some of the funny things that happen,
it's non-toxic. I mean, when we're
the
talking
fire
about
department
smoke,
getting
it's
calls.
not like we're gonna,
you wouldn't believe some of.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny now.
Yeah.
Like, there's some, I'll just go through these pictures real quick and then I'll get right back to the See, right there is smoke coming up out of the manhole. That's downstream of our smoker. Just to give you a kind of an idea of
That's where you want it to come out.
in that case, yes, but I'll show you. There's our smoke machine, and usually it's kind of nice to have like an ATV buggy or something to haul it around and haul the guys around in. It makes it a lot easier. Golf carts. We do get some older gentlemen, so walking is somewhat an issue. Right there is one of the ones I wanted to point out. This was in Edina, Ohio. And their plant was literally getting washed out on every ring of it. I mean, they were under findings and orders with the EPA. So they reached out to us to come in and give them assistance with smoke testing. This was in a soybean field, probably 500 yards from where the smoker was. It was a heck of a ways out in the middle of this field, and all I seen was this great big chimney of smoke coming up. And I asked the operator, I said, what is that over there? And he said, well, I think there's a manhole over there. The farmer, during planting the crops that year, hit the riser with his plow or a piece of equipment or something. Mm-hmm. You can see where it's washed out to where no crops ever grow. Yeah. This was a ravine coming down through the field. However many hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, I don't even want to know. That was one of the big finds that we found. Not saying that you guys have soybean fields down here that have manholes in them, but this is the type of stuff that we potentially can come across.
We found that in IGA, didn't we?
Yeah.
There's Tim Ballard, our water guy. There's the training we did here. There's Lowell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was free training.
There's my type of smoke test, though, sitting on the patio on a Friday. But no, getting back to that, we notify everybody usually 30 days in advance. If you have a local radio station, we notify them. We put a mailer out in the water bill or sewer bill, whatever is kind of convenient to the time that the test is going to go on. We put up notices at the post office, at BP, at your frequented places around here. Yeah, because word of mouth gets around. I try to do my best in the water bill. We will put a notation in there and let people know that are on oxygen or confined to a wheelchair type of thing. If we fill their house full of smoke, it's scary because instantly everybody thinks fire. We notify the sheriff's department, the fire department. And then typically I like to have a REACT part-time cop, a deputy if he's off, just wanting to participate, a firefighter, somebody that has a radio on them, so we can quickly respond to, because I don't care, any village that I've ever been in, we usually get 1 to 2 calls, 911.
Sounds like it's a good thing too. Like that lady you talked about, if she hadn't had all these health issues, it could have even got worse and worse. And that smoke basically probably saved her life. Basically, yeah.
I mean, it works. It's not 100% bulletproof because I can't crawl in the pipe myself. Kind of put on a little bit of weight, but it really does help out with identifying problems throughout the village, and like I said, correcting that mystery water. The more that we can cut down on that, we cut down on operation cost, treatment time, the plant getting blown out, and then having to write a spill report with the EPA. It happens. It happens quite frequently.
But I'd like to get that article, and we could put it on our website for those that want to search that article about what not to flush. But again, this is, training and making aware for the public to, what you can identify. Because, I think these are great kind of sessions that we can have for people to refer back to that would help them identify
And they can always
problems.
reach out to me, too, through Ohio Rural Water's website. And,
okay, good.
If need be.
Okay.
Preferably directed questions to yourself or counsel,
sure.
and then reach out to me that way. And at the end of the day, we'll try to get you an answer.
Yep. Just like we did today. I mean, we did. We resolved something today that was, it could have been a finger pointing session, but we found out the proof. And it just happened to be it was on the homeowner's side. But the guys learned, or were trained today, and got to see, what 20 years of experience in the field has done, and the knowledge that I can bring to the table and help them out. I hope help the
it was
homeowner
beneficial to them. I know you're short-staffed in a way, and that makes things difficult too. So.
Okay.
Don't have any other questions?
Very interesting.
Thank
All right.
you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you doing that.
Leave all my stuff out.
All righty, no problem. We'll move right into committee reports. Finance.
Well, we have finance. We have all these reports as part of finance. There's nothing more to add to that, but when we get to one of the ordinances and resolutions, we're going to bring up finance again.
Okay.
So I'm going to go from that point to one of the ordinances.
Okay. Pleasant Township. Craig.
The trustees reported that General Dollar we're hoping to start construction in the next few months.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
about it.
All righty.
While we're on that, I think we need to monitor this because this council has no idea where water and sewer, who's paying for it, are they going to require it or anything?
No, we do have an idea.
Has that been worked out?
We do have an idea. The latest report I got,
I want to hear
they're
it.
drilling a well.
Oh, no, not in the village.
No, it's not in the village. They're in the process of getting permission to drill it. It's in a township trustee business. It's not in our village, no.
You mean the new business is not in town?
No.
But what's going to keep us from annexing that before they build?
I
Now, that's
have no
the thought
idea.
that comes across my mind, because we're going to have to be on top of this.
Well, we're going to have to be on top of annexing really quick because they're supposed to start construction
That
in
doesn't
April.
matter. I'm kind of upset with 3 Pleasant Township trustees for not letting us know this.
I
What they
understand.
had in mind.
I
Now,
understand.
where do they plan to put it?
In Burr Oaks, at the corner of 62 and 3rd, is that 3rd Street?
Well, there's
It's
Right beside Kale Chevrolet.
The empty lot there.
empty lot.
Yeah.
But what's to say that that can't come into the village? In the future, then we've got a well to contend with.
Well, we have a lot of wells to contend with. Every house in Burr Oaks has a well.
Well, that may be.
We just have another well. But they will hook up to our sewage.
And they are to the sewage, so
Yeah.
we get part of their business, don't we?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, initially, Lowell, I was going to those,
yes, I remember.
township meetings, and it was definitely brought up
Thank you, Sean.
by the village that we would like to be part of, at least have an opportunity for them to consider tapping into our water and having some input on that. And unfortunately, no one ever got back with the village on any of those arrangements, and it seems as though it's moving forward, but I don't know that it's 100% done deal. Do we still have?
No. It's not
I reached out
100%.
to the engineering firm that's building it.
Well, could the man that just left, could we talk to him and get some ideas?
No.
He's out of that completely. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll have an update. We'll be able to provide you.
well, I think we need to be on top.
Did they tell you what size? How many square footage?
Small.
It's the
small-
smaller
Small one.
Yeah.
Squad, that would be Lowell Anderson.
The squad meets Wednesday.
Okay.
I guess I'm on the squad. I've been on and off and on and off. I haven't.
Yeah, well,
So
you're on again.
I'm on it again.
You're on again.
So I meet Wednesday.
I
I
say
get calls.
so.
Are you coming? And I didn't even know I was
I'll
supposed
drive you
to.
there, Lowell. I'll drive you there.
Oh, yeah, so far away.
Okay. Fire, that's Marcy, and she's not here. Water, wastewater,
That would be me.
Becky.
So we had a meeting February the 26th. We just discussed a few things, changes to the fund forecast for the water and sewer, and then I believe we discussed adding Sue Tedrow,
Mm-hmm.
being that she would be water,
We hire
for
Misty wasn't
Misty,
here.
right? And then we just kind of bounced some ideas off of each other on how to sell water. Again, that's at this point, there is no relief for the debt that we have acquired, so we are trying to turn that around and find ideas on how to sell water to make a profit off of our asset, and then that might alleviate some of the burden of debt to the village residents. So that's kind of what we did there.
Very good.
And the next meeting, I believe I've announced this before, but we always have those meetings the 4th Tuesday of the month at 2:15.
4th Tuesday. Okay. At what time? 2:15?
2:15.
That leads us into streets. Mr. Timmons.
Yeah, basically, Courtney and I have been talking about the pothole situation in town, and we'll get together and we'll decide when we want to have a date and a meeting. And some of these potholes are getting as big as moon craters, and the way this weather's been so topsy-turvy, it seems like we get cold and warm, cold, and just enough for them to expand. So we'll get back to you on that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, sooner than later.
Yes.
Potholes. That takes us to Parks and Rec. Becky Martin.
Yes. We did have our meeting February 26th, and Jack Dill, our Park and Rec's leader, wanted to let us know that he recommended that we purchase 2 batting cage mats, 2 new L screens, that's for the pitching machines, and 2 squeegees that work better on those fields out there. So we were pretty cool with that, being that they're all within his budget. And then also at our Park and Recs meeting, happy to say that this year it's going to happen. We're going to have 3 movie nights this summer. We're going to have one in June, July, and August. We are going to come to council like we did last year and ask for the monies once we get those specifics, and that will come out of the Park and Recs fund that's already sitting there, so we won't ask for any more money. But I know last year we did come to council for that approval, and then unfortunately it didn't happen last year, but it's going to happen this year.
Very good.
So, yeah. And again, the next meeting will be that 4th Tuesday, which is March 26th.
Excuse me.
And that's at 3:30.
Okay.
Becky, did you ever decide on the Family Feud night? Is that still a possibility? Or
he still says that we're going to do that. We didn't talk much about that. I know one of the problems last year was a screen, but that screen has been bought, and another thing last year that seemed to be holding that up was just some little buzzers or something. Okay. But I'm going to make sure it pushes on through if we have to use bells. You know,
I think we could have a lot of fun with that this summer. Yeah.
And I wanted to welcome Mike to nuisance abatement, or nope, wrong. I want to welcome you to Parks and Rec. I think you're on nuisance and abatement too, but welcome to Park and Rec. And then I did see that Marcy has now been assigned to Parks and Rec, so that'll be good. So that's all I have.
Background checks?
Oh, yeah. We were wanting the youth league this year to try to get background checks for their coaches and volunteers, just because, you know, in this day and age, there's a lot of liability for everything. And I did have the opportunity. No one came from the Youth League to our meeting. Hopefully they'll be there this time. But I spoke to the president of the Youth League and told him that that's really what we wanted to happen this year. So
good idea.
We just need to make sure that that happens.
Good idea. Good idea. Record of retention.
Nothing at this time.
Nuisance and abatement. That's on the back burner right now, isn't it?
That's Mike.
Just take a minute with nuisance and abatement. When we were interviewing people for council, some of them expressed an interest in working with us on nuisance and abatement, and we could have another person from the general public.
Yeah, you have 2 residents that could sit on the committee.
Right. And I think one of them was Mark back there that wanted to be on one of them. Was that the one you wanted?
Block watch. It wouldn't matter.
Block watch.
Oh, block watch. Yeah, but
I know that gentleman, Andy,
Drake.
Andy Drake was really interested in being on the nuisance and abatement, so you might consider reaching out to him. And Julia Orrs was on it also, so she probably would continue.
Okay. Block watch.
on the block watch, I'm putting together something. At the next meeting, I'll have more to it. I'm going to do it in a different way this year. I'm going to go pick out some citizens out of the towns willing to come to the meeting and willing to be captains. And The main thing I want is neighbors watching for their neighbors. There's so much going on. There's a new scam that's going on now that they're going in, like they say, they'll be calling elderly now, saying that their granddaughter or grandson is in jail in another country, and lo and behold, sometimes the people get concerned because they may have somebody in another country. We need money immediately. Could you give us your checking account number? And so we just got to be belligerent and watching everything, because there's so much out there. There's so many. They come up with so new ideas, these criminals do now, and we'll get this together in the next meeting, and I'll hope to have something assembled today, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Speaking on that, Glenda got the call about the grandchildren.
Oh, okay.
And then I got the call about, and I didn't respond to him very politely, and he used a lot of dirty words. More power to you, buddy.
One of the best things I do to them, I got a voice imitator. They don't like to hear the album, the Chipmunk voice. They will hang up. But like Lowell said, it is out there. I'm glad he brought that up, because it's out there, and we got to be prepared.
I have two people. Mr. Stage back there, I would love for him to join the committee. And then I have somebody else that reached out to me that has really good ideas.
Yeah, Mike will make a great captain, and we'll get this all put together next meeting.
Very good, very good.
I think the quadrant idea, and we were speaking about that before this meeting, about splitting up the town in 3 or 4 areas would benefit for so many reasons. The meter reads, the bills, the checking for leaks, replacing meters, all the committees.
There's so many schemes out there. They'll have like fake buttons to try to get in homes for home invasions, and so much stuff like that. We just got to be very careful.
Okay, very good. You want to do resolution 219 first or last?
The ordinance.
No. I thought it was an ordinance, but
You
it's.
just want to go in order, and then I'll.
All right, I'll go in order.
Okay.
Or order. That brings us to ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2019-4. This is the ordinance amending the rules of council. This will be on the 3rd reading.
I'll give you the motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Passed on the 3rd reading.
Thank you. Brings us to ordinance 219-5. An ordinance.
Wait,
You got to do passage.
we just have to have passage.
Oh, I do, don't I? And I already got it checked off. All right, I need a motion for passage.
You got that motion?
Thank you. Second.
Craig?
Discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion.
Not on passage.
Yes, we do. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Check it off
Yes.
again.
Craig?
Yes.
Resolution or ordinance has been passed.
Ordinance 2019-5, increasing the appropriations to confirm with the recovery plan adopted by the Village of Mount Sterling. This is on the 3rd reading.
I'll give you the motion.
Can I make
Oh.
No. Need a motion.
I just did.
Okay, second?
Second.
Yeah, you
Now discussion.
Okay, because so who seconded it?
I did.
Okay.
David.
All right. You guys have all received a copy of another recovery plan in front of you. This is going to be amending ordinance 2019-5, and it also is going to be amending resolution 2019-7, which is this 3rd one down, okay? I held a meeting with the school district today, and we will have to be paying what our enterprise zone agreement was that we paid last year, okay? So we, as council, you guys have elected to pay, last year was $115,000, okay? For a enterprise zone agreement that was signed prior to all of us administration. Now, Lowell was, I think, the most educated one on that in regards to the agreement and what that says.
Did you talk to Kale?
Yes, so I have a trike meeting come Wednesday at 10:30 at the Madison County Chamber of Commerce, okay, to discuss this. And basically what that means is that all of the parties involved in this agreement that was signed, it's a 10-year agreement, we have 6 years to go to pay on it. And what that, yes, and what that means is that we have to pay, we have to have our income tax that's being generated from newly created jobs at KN.
But we have to keep in mind too that that could go down
Yes. Yes.
because it was high
Correct.
in 18.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's high in 19.
Yes, so if it's okay with Lowell, I don't know if you want to create it like a work session or just a finance committee meeting, but you guys, there will have to be an amount that will have to be paid to the village on the agreement on March the 26th. I will be delivering that to them.
Okay.
So again, I will have a meeting with them on Wednesday. But what that means, and the reason why I'm mentioning the recovery plan and why you guys received another one, is that the state auditor, I spoke to Jim today, just before the meeting, and included in this forecast, we've already had it on 2 readings, okay? So tonight would have been the 3rd reading.
Well,
I had to add that amount in there just so we could pass this recovery plan, okay? So Jim is aware of it. That's why you have it as amended. So this will be as an amended on the 1st reading, okay? So we will have to hold 2 additional meetings to get this passed.
well,
Special meetings.
I'm not sure. Are you? You think we have to do that?
I just don't like the idea of sticking it in there and voting on the 3rd one that doesn't match the first 2.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
So,
And we can't do it on an
it
emergency.
can be done, can it?
I'll talk to Mark, but I'm not.
Well, I think we can. We could amend it on the 3rd reading.
And place it on the 1st.
No. Let's see, which one are we?
Because this is the 3rd reading, and I have to agree with Mr. Owens here, is because I don't like the idea of passing on emergency.
Well, it wouldn't be an emergency. It would be on the 3rd reading as amended.
No, correct. We're going to amend the thing, but
Yes.
you've got 1st reading without it, 2nd reading without it.
Yes.
To pop it on the 3rd reading as amended.
Yeah.
Sort of obviates the first 2 meetings.
I agree.
So we could.
I would prefer not to. If it were to be me, I
Well,
have to go.
eventually we're going to adopt it anyway, so.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that I would still like to have you guys review it. I would still
Okay.
like to
These are
have.
for
That's what
public
you're saying.
discussion, and it's not open
Right.
to public discussion
Yes.
if it's not on it.
Yes.
So that kind of the first 2 readings did not include it. They weren't open for, that particular thing wasn't open for public discussion. That's,
Yeah.
yeah, you see. So we amend it, do 3 readings, and you got it.
Well, do we have to do anything with it tonight?
Well, we're going to amend it and place it on the 1st reading.
Right.
And then, again, we'll have to schedule 2 special meetings.
This has to be done by the 19th
Yes.
of this month.
And again, the
what I'm
auditors,
saying.
they've already given us the direction. So unfortunately, they would like to have it on 3 readings. Just because, again, we were going to be placing this on 3 readings. But this kind of came up, and I really feel that it needs to be, changed and reviewed by you.
Well, we ought to go over what ought to be changed then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's only one update. It's only adding that, the enterprise zone agreement on there. So you would be asking for a motion to amend 2019-05 with placing on the 1st reading.
Now, this is the yearly forecast that we're going to amend.
Yeah, and it's going to be on line 1,000. So if you guys want to take a quick gander at that, it's 1,790,640.
So, what we need a motion for is to amend ordinance 2019-5. First of all, I need a motion to amend to add the particular line in question.
What page is that on?
It's next to the last one.
Let me see it.
Yeah. I think it's right.
790.
Payment to a political subdivision, is that the?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. All right. I see it.
Okay,
I'll give you that motion.
okay, thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to amend ordinance 2019-5 with the figures or language that you see on your new sheet. Vote?
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Well, before I vote, this is
Now they're changing it to.
Okay, number 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm trying to save us some time on this.
We don't have much time, Lowell.
That's it. That's the reason
We've got
I
8
would be in
days.
favor. Well,
I know, you're just saying, yeah, you would like to get it changed and done.
technically, we can change it now
Yeah.
and place it on the 3rd reading as amended.
You can, yeah.
And that would get us through it.
No,
That's what I want to do, because you're going to have to call 2 more meetings.
I know, but that's not his,
I'm not
that's not his
positive you can't be
recommendation.
second-guessed on that.
I know it's not, but
So if you
among
want-
us, we're going to adopt it anyway. I don't think we're going to change it ever.
No, but we're satisfying the auditor's office
That's
more so.
what I'm thinking of. What
Yeah.
you do here is kind of scrutinize it.
It's a recommendation that's what I keep saying, is a recommendation of the auditors.
They
The
can be
auditors would
wrong
like
too.
to have it on 3 readings with the information on here so that you guys have had time to review it and that it has the proper reading for the proper structure. Because what happens is on those readings, every meeting, I attach this forecast to the back of those resolutions. And if that resolution has something where that number or digit is off, then, you know, it voids the 2 in front of it. It voids the 2 readings that we placed it on.
I don't know why they're recommending that, because they're also recommending that we adopt it with that in there. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to vote no.
All right,
Be done with it.
all right.
Okay, Craig?
Yes.
Okay.
So, we
A motion has been
move,
made.
we amended it. Now, I need a motion to approve 2/1905 and put it on its first reading as amended.
I'll give that motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Becky got that one. Okay. I heard it.
Okay, vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
I want to hear what you just said.
This is a motion to put ordinance 2/1905 on its first reading as amended earlier tonight.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
No.
all right.
I still think that we all know
I
that
know.
we're going to adopt
I
it.
know.
We're wasting time.
I know.
So that's why I don't care what the auditors say.
Okay.
I argue with them all the time.
All right,
I'm not doing it.
All right.
They're taking our time. No. My answer is no.
okay.
Craig?
Yes.
All right, so ordinance 2019-5 has passed its first reading as amended. We'll call 2 meetings, special meetings, for this purpose before the 19th so she can get this turned in.
Okay, and I'm just trying to, for time purpose,
See, that's within 1 week from tomorrow.
yes, so it'll be 7 days. The 19th falls on next Tuesday.
And as I said, I know I'm talking now and it's done. We're wasting time. We're just wasting my time, yours, to come out and have another meeting to do this.
I know, we are.
It's going to be
But-
done anyway.
Pardon?
It does.
It's going to be adopted anyway.
Yes, it
so
will.
Why waste the time?
That brings us to Resolution 21901. Resolution authorizing me, as mayor, to sign a renewal of insurance with Reinhardt, Walters, and Danner Insurance Agency. That's
I'll give you the motion.
insure all of our equipment. Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
So I need a motion to adopt. That was
Got that.
because that was on the third reading.
Yeah.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Vote.
David?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
All right, Resolution 21901 has passed and is adopted. That brings us to Resolution 21902, a resolution accepting the Park and Rec Consultant Employment Contract.
I
You
move
all
that
know
we
what?
place this resolution on hold because the Finance Committee has not studied this out for the cost of the resolution, and Courtney and I have talked about it. So I move then that this resolution be
Tabled.
put on hold until we can study what it's going to cost. We don't know what this is going to cost us.
I second that.
And
I
we're
agree
under
with Lowell
fiscal
too.
emergency
I think
anyway.
I think we need to talk it out too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finance needs to
So
talk about it.
Mike seconded
we're
it.
going to put Resolution 21902 on hold from
Right.
its third reading, because it already passed 2.
That's true, that's true.
Yes.
Put on hold until Finance.
All right.
All right.
And I got a motion first by Lowell and seconded by Mike.
Yes, and now I need a vote.
Okay, David,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
Yes.
Craig.
Yes.
That brings us to Resolution 21907, approving the recovery plan for the general fund due to the village being under fiscal emergency. This will be on the third reading.
This is the same thing for the amend.
Yes. I need a motion to approve on the third reading.
You got that motion?
Second?
A second.
No, wait a
Okay, no,
minute.
you're
Wait a
amending
minute.
it.
Wait a minute.
You're amending it.
We're-
You're asking for a
We're-
motion to amend.
Yeah, just like the ordinance. That's what I meant to say.
So you're
Okay, so
amending, you're
I've
doing
got
the same
first
thing
reading
with this
down.
resolution that you did with the one.
Correct.
Yes.
5.
I wrote down first reading. So I have to have it amended first. All right, Resolution 21907, because we bounced from 1 to 2 to 7 all
Well,
of a
because
sudden.
ordinances
Okay,
are in
not a
sequence
problem.
order.
Like Ordinance 21905, we amended it. I need a motion to amend Resolution 21907, exactly the same way the ordinance was amended.
I'll give that
Are you going
motion.
to try to adopt it tonight?
No. I'm gonna put it on first reading. I have a first. I need a second.
Who wants to,
I'll
David
second.
Okay. This is just to amend it.
Now, what reading are you putting it on now?
First.
We're gonna take a roll vote on the
Yeah.
amend. And then he's gonna ask for a motion to put it on the first reading.
Why can't we do it on the third reading?
No, we can't. We can't do it. We have to do it this way.
Okay.
We have to do it this way.
Okay.
So I got a first and a second. I need a vote.
Okay, David,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
No.
Craig.
Yes.
All right, it passed. Now, I need a motion to put the amended Resolution 21907, I need a motion to put that on the first reading.
I'll give you the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
David,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
No,
Craig.
Yes.
you're doing the same thing.
Yes, we are. That runs us to roundtable.
To vote.
I'd like to thank my brother John for coming out. He's come up for vacation to sit through a council meeting on your vacation. That's a pretty steady professor. Thanks, John.
That's
Just another reminder, April the 20th is our community Easter egg hunt at the community center at 10 a.m. sharp. And I believe Mr. Timmons mentioned it before, April 26th, 27th, 28th is the community cleanup days. I know Madison Plains is involved. They're coming one day. And the Chamber of Commerce is getting involved. I did ask the township trustees if they wanted to get involved. I know the village is getting involved.
they jumped
and
right on the board, didn't they?
we'll see. I hope so. Hopefully you can follow up with that, Craig, and see if the trustees are going to come. And I just a challenge out there to any organizations and groups and even individuals if they want to be a part of our community cleanup day. And we have everything to be done from picking up couches to planting flowers. So yep, that's all I have.
All right, anyone else?
What days are we going to meet to redo these ordinances?
What day are we going to meet, Courtney?
It's gonna be dependent upon whatever you guys' schedules are. I'm
Whatever
available
what?
at any time.
I know the 19th is the only day I really have something going on that I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we'll have to have it before that.
Yeah, we have to have it by the 18th, Mike.
By the 18th, okay.
Yeah.
Can
I'll
can
send an
she
email.
call? Yeah. Can
I'll
she
send an email or text.
email all of
I
you?
can't do it on Friday.
Okay, so not on the 15th. All right,
Okay, she'll email everybody. We'll set that
and
up.
we'll set it for later.
All right.
Okay.
Anything
So
else?
You're going to have 2 meetings between now and the 19th.
We are.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody good?
4 o'clock.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.
Question.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, turn the video off before we